All right, welcome everyone to this week's live force drawing session this Friday. We're going to be doing something extremely unique today. I actually want to thank Mrityunjay for this. Mrityunjay brought this technology to my attention, and I just decided there's no way that we can't use this. It's finally going to give us the opportunity to work with you guys live, like in the session, and actually work with you. This is not going to be a follow along like we've done in the past. This is you drawing with us in real time in the moment here during this live stream. Okay. So we're going to describe. I'm going to describe it to you, and because it's going to take a little bit of work on our front end with you guys. This is our first time doing it, of course. So there's going to be a little bit more effort than usual to get there. So let's see. Let me stop the share here so we can just talk to you. Go to gallery mode here. All right. Hey guys, how's everyone doing before we go into our giant conversation?
Good. Excited.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all really stoked over here, really excited to work with you guys on this. So here's what it is. Okay, what we're going to be doing today is the website we're going to be using. The tech is at a place called Aggie, and I'll write this in later in the chat so you can see it. But it's AGGIE.io, Aggie.io, and it means that there's almost like a Photoshop-like version of the software in the browser, right? And we can share a link with you to this software. And with that link, you could basically come into this, browser like Photoshop with us, right, live in this stream. So what we've done on our end is we have 3 different files today. Each one's got a model photograph in it. And we're going to actually be able to help you live while you're drawing, right? So, but there's a couple of prerequisites in order for you to be picked today to do this, okay? And then, like I said, we'll do this again. We'll see how it goes, but I'm imagining we're going to do this pretty often. I have a feeling this will be, pretty successful today, really be able to help you guys. You need to be digitally set up, right? You have to be on a computer or a device where your browser works, which obviously all of you are because you're watching us on YouTube, right? But the other component is you really need to have a pen, a digital pen, right? A pen that's going to be able to write on a tablet, either an iPad or like a Bamboo or something like that, or an Intuos, right? Like a thing that you can draw on digitally, or you have to be on something like a Cintiq or a Surface Pro, right? Something of that nature. If you don't have that, then don't bother trying to like raise your hand to join us in the stream because it won't work, right? We need somebody who's got pressure sensitivity digitally to have the capacity to draw digitally with us. Okay, pressure sensitivity is really important. All right. So let's get started. What I need you guys to do is, if you do have that set up, just put yes, next to your name in the chat, and we'll go through all of the yeses. That just tells us that you have that. After you do that, we'll just pick one of you guys from the audience that has the capacity to, for the setup today, that has the ability to do this. And then we're going to put a link out into the chat. Now, what I'm entrusting this community with is only the person that we pick uses the link and comes into the live stream with us. Okay, don't bombard me with like 30 people. Right, we're picking one person to come in. Otherwise, this doesn't work. Right. It's kind of, I don't know if this is kind of me aging myself, but this reminds me of like game shows like The Price is Right. Like there's audience members, and what's so exciting here is we're going to be able to pick one of you guys, and you get to come up here with us and draw with us live, right? And then the rest of you get to watch, right, and ask questions, of course, as usual. And hopefully this is just going to be an amazing, education in drawing with force, right? All right, we got a bunch of yeses going on here, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
So
Mike, one thing we're gonna
please.
let clear here is that there's gonna be a little bit of delay between what they
Mm.
see and what is going on in your screen. So you're gonna be drawing, but at the same time, you're gonna be listening to us, but with a little bit of delay. So be aware of that. It's not going to happen real time.
Yeah. So let's grab, let's see, who do we want as our first person here?
Drum rolls.
Let's pick, I'm gonna pick Marcus. All right, Marcus, so you're gonna be our first guy up, right? You got the setup. All right, what I'm gonna share with you is I'm gonna share with you the link, okay? So obviously I'm putting it in the chat, so the rest of you, please don't use the link, just sit back and watch, right? So here's the link I want you to use, Marcus. Okay, so click on that link, that should take you.
Community. We really trust our community. They're not gonna be a bunch of assholes trying to.
Exactly.
No, I trust them.
Yeah. So here.
Don't make me look bad, people, please.
So I'm going to share that link with you, which I just did. And now hopefully you guys also out there in YouTube can see the software we're in. And Marcus will now also have access to this software. Okay. I'm going to go full screen here as big as I can. Okay. And what you're going to find here is each one of us will have the ability to actually draw as well. Okay, so you can see I'm actually starting to draw in here. All right. Let's go to black. All right. So Marcus, you should be able to make your way in here. What you'll have to do, Marcus, by the way, is over here in layers, you just pick a new layer, and you can see that's that little page over there with the tab. You know, so you want to click on that, and that'll make a new layer for yourself, and you own that layer. So each one of the artists here, Swenley, Diego, Mrityunjay, and myself have our own layers, but we're basically in the same Photoshop program, right? And then that's it, right? And you can start drawing. So what I'd like you to do is just get acclimated. You can see there's brush settings up here that we have. This is the ones that I like. You can, you know, if you want, you can try and copy that. I tried to set up a brush that's pretty, that feels like a force brush to me. It works like Photoshop in that brackets can scale up and down, right? So if you want to make the brush bigger or smaller, right, you have that, you have the ability to do that, right? And try to maybe get a little bit used to the software itself. Tell me if you're running into any problems. No problem, okay. So Marcus is making his way in. I see some layers coming in here. We got Diego and Mrityunjay. Swenley, are you layer 4 or is that Marcus?
Let me check. I think I am layer 4 indeed. Yes.
Okay, so Marcus isn't in here yet. So Marcus, when you do get in here, like I said, create yourself a layer, and then I would say just start off with trying to practice the line, right? I can tell because there's a lot going on in here, it's trying to angularize my line a little bit, but that's okay. I think it's good enough for us to try to get some work going on in here, right? Diego. Command Z rolls it back, so that works just like other drawing and painting programs as well. And then you got an eraser tool. All right. Scale this guy up.
Marcus, is pretty easy. There's Mike. Can you show on your screen where to click to get a new layer? Or I think
yeah, it's right over here. Yeah, right over here. Right. If you see my cursor, you can see it's right there.
It's on top, Marcus. It's on top on of the trash can.
Yeah, above the trash can, above the layers. Yeah. Yes, that's right, Frank. So there's 5 drawers in here at one time. And what we'll do is we'll allow, one of you guys to come in, and we're going to try to help support you.
Okay, guys, we have a lot of animals on top there. So there are many people here that shouldn't be here. So we trust you. Please don't mess this up. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah, otherwise we won't be able to do it. Okay, Marcus, are you in yet? Let's see if he's in. Okay. All right. So while we're waiting, like I said, it's going to be our first time, so I'm sure we'll have some. All right, you're in. Great. So Marcus, I'd say, why don't you try to start just practicing some line, right? So see if you can get your setup, because you're very black right now in the line. I would say knock your, knock your opacity down. You can see I'm at 46%, right? That's over here, all the brush settings, right? So you kind of end up with like a medium gray, right?
Yeah, we can do Control Z, like Marcus is asking in the chat, but it's
Yeah.
only 10 times, I guess. So
Yeah, it only does a certain amount. Yeah. Yeah, knock your opacity down. And then somehow I got softness out of this. Oh, the hardness, knock the hardness down to 0. For those of you that are out there, right, you can try to, prepare to try to do the same thing. Yeah, so try to get the hardness down to 0, Marcus. It's right underneath opacity, so we get a softer edge. Right, what I'm trying to prep you for is what we're calling soft touch. So you can kind of work your way into the line a little bit better. Sort of like what you're seeing me do here, right? So what I want you to hit is, yeah, that's better. Yeah, so 46% on opacity, 0 on hardness, all right? And then we'll get started, right? And we can always just shut off a layer. If you have a lot of lines on it, you can just shut off a layer and start a new layer, okay? All right, Marcus, so the first step I want to take you through, this is what we do on the website. See if you can get rid of all of your gobbledygook. What we want to do first, you can do Command Z as well, by the way. What we want to do first is just kind of practice the line, right? So what we do on the website is we've been doing something called skating the page and the roller coaster are 2 of our sort of physical experiences. So skating the page means that you're going to make believe you're on an ice skating rink and you're going to try to skate around. And what we're trying to do is bring physics to the line, right? So we want to be able to flow from one place to another. It's going to look something like this. It's going to go from, thin to thick. Oops, pencil, brush, there we go. Thin to thick, to thin to thick, to thin to thick, like this, right? To try to start flowing around the screen like this and getting yourself nice and loosened up, right? So why don't you try that? You want to imagine the physical experience of all this, right? So you're actually like pushing into the curves and letting up as you come out, pushing into the curves and letting up as you come out, okay?
by the way, Marcus is asking like Command Z doesn't work. So, the good thing about this software again is it has basically many of the controls of Photoshop. So for example, if you just like want to erase the whole thing, whatever you're doing, so you can press Control A and delete. So it will just, erase all
That
that.
does work.
Yeah, that does work.
So not bad. I would say you can probably go a little faster, Marcus. And we want to try to get rid of this like wobble that's happening, right? You see how you have a little bit of wobbliness in the line? I want to see if we can get rid of that and try to flow around more smoothly, more confidently, okay? So let's try that again. Yeah, it doesn't work for me, the Command A thing, Mrityunjay.
No, it doesn't, but in my browser it does.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, mine I have to Command Z my way back out.
Mm-hmm.
You can just click the eraser icon you have on the top of the layers. That's gonna be way faster.
Yeah, that's what he did. So just try to speed it up a little bit, Marcus, right? Just a little faster. Try to stay really smooth and graceful, right? Yeah, and try to push into those curves so you feel the whip happening, right? It's almost like a whipping action into the curve. That's good. Yeah, it's better. So now I'm going to take you through another process, which is what we call the roller coaster, right? So on the roller coaster, what you want to do is we're trying to learn directional and applied force at the while skating the page. In a sense, we're trying to bring these two experiences together. What's happening here on a much deeper level is on skating the page, it's almost like we're imagining the screen flat, right? So it's like this, and gravity is pulling down on the paper, and you're skating around feeling pressure move into the page along with speed. So there's a lot of physics and pressure going down. The roller coaster brings in gravity more vertically relative to probably the page or screen you're drawing on right now. So there's also downwardness, right? So now when I go down like that, I'm also thinking of the weight going that way. And really in the end, what we want to do is combine both of these. What does that mean? What it means is force-wise, we want to really try to understand that there's internal force, and there's also, and this means the body and internal force, and that there's gravity pulling on the body. So what does that mean? For instance, you know, in this model, she's pushing up her back, right, up into the shoulders here, right? And that's an upward thrust, right? So the thrust is going up like this, but, you know, she has gravity pulling down into her pelvis and into her rear end. And you can see how this part of her pelvis is falling off of the chair, right? It's on this angle, right? So down here, it's more gravitational, right? So I have all this energy down here that's pushing down. And up here, this is totally off, but up here, this is all driving up, right? So those are like the two main things, and they come from these two exercises, basically, right? So what the skating looks like, let me see if I can command zoom my way out of most of this. What those two experiences look like is, I'm gonna show this to you in color, the way that I do it in the books. Is we would have directional force, right? So when you're roller coastering, you're drawing directional force, basically. You're saying, hey, like this is going like this, and then it's going into the curve like this. You're listening? That's good, thank you. So, right, it's going like this, and then we're sweeping it to the next place. And then in orange, what's happening is every time I draw that line, the reason I repeat myself in these lines is because my brain shifts over to the orange idea. So when you guys see me draw in my videos, or you see me drawing on paper, what I'm saying is, here's a directional force, the end. I'm actually done at that point with directional force. That tells me where something has come from and where it's gone to, okay? After that, what I'm doing is I'm starting to feel out the force inside, okay, which is the applied force. Right? So now I'm like building up and building up and building up. What I'm actually illustrating is the energy inside. It's all this stuff that I'm working with, right? So first comes directional, and then I'll hit it over and over again because I want to shift my mind over to the fact that it's pushing into the curve, okay? So that's what I want you to do. I want you to try skating, the roller coaster, sorry, the roller coaster first, Marcus. And I just want you to kind of move around the screen like this, and every time you get to a curve in your roller coaster, right, you're going to connect. This is the skating. It's like you're going to connect to the next place, and every time you hit a curve, you're going to push into it and push into it and push in, and then you're going to come out, connect, push in, push in, push in, right? Come out, connect, push in, push in, push in, come out, connect, push in, push in, push in. You see? Okay. All right. Let me erase all of my lines so you can take over the space. All right, it's all yours. I'll get myself set up here with these colors again. So you guys that are at home, of course, even if you don't have a digital setup, you can do this on your paper, right? So do this on the page, go through the same process that we're taking Marcus through, right?
And you can just like do it with your friends, right? It's yeah, it's a nice way of collaborating. really cool.
Yeah, some of the students at drawingforce.com have started creating some of their own small groups outside of, you know, drawingforce.com where they draw together. This is such a great way to do that, right? You can talk about each other's work and draw in the same space together. You can draw on top of each other's work and help each other out, right? Help pushing stuff, right? Patrick asks, do you use your digital stylus like you do the graphite or magic bullet? No, when I draw with, that's a good question. When I draw with the graphite, I mean, with the stylus, I hold it the way I hold a regular pencil when I'm writing my name. So it's overhand, not underhand, basically, right? So Marcus, yeah, try to get that brush set up to where it's light and soft, right? You want to get that pressure and you need the light and softness, right? And then you want to build up into the lines, right? Make sure you have your opacity down. Yeah. Yeah, keep building into that and then allow yourself, yeah, exactly, to connect and then try to get some nice curves going in the other one. You're very opaque. I don't know if you're at 40% or not. It seems pretty dark.
Yeah, Beatrice is very new to the digital setup. Would you like to help him? Help her.
Beatrice, guys, I've never drawn digitally and would not even know where to start. Do you have any advice for a newbie? Christmas? Oh, it depends, honestly, Beatrice, on how much your budget is. You know, I would say what I would consider the best entry into drawing digitally at the lowest price point would probably be the Apple iPad, the iPad Pro. And even that's not inexpensive. I mean, that's, I think, $1,000, and then you have to buy the pencil for 100, right? It depends on if you already have a computer. Like if you have a computer and you got a strong, you know, computer or laptop or tape, you know, or desktop, you can go towards the Cintiqs. I'm not a fan of some of the other equipment. I don't want to put down anyone, so I'm not going to mention names. If there's other equipment out there I'm not very fond of, I just don't think it draws as well. I'd have to say I think the iPad Pro is probably the best for that price point, because after that you start going up to the Cintiqs and hooking that up to a laptop, and then, you know, then you're starting to talk more in the thousands. I mean, Mrityunjay, you just got a new Cintiq, a smaller one. What does that normally run at that size?
Yeah, it runs good. I mean, you can use like
I mean,
the
what's the
elbow.
price? What's the price on
Oh,
that?
what's the price? It's I forget where it in dollars, but if you just want in Indian rupees, it's 40,000. Okay,
So
so
40,000 divided by 7, was it, right?
it's 70. Right,
7, right, but 7, right? So it's probably,
so
7 times 7 is 49. So it's probably about $600, $700, that means, for the one you have, the size you have. It seems kind of cheap.
no, it's kind of like 400, 500. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, and
That's
it's
a
a
small,
60. Yeah, it's a
that's a
16-inch
16-inch
size.
screen.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. That's just screen. That's not computer, right? That's just a
Yeah,
screen
that's not
alone.
computer. Yeah, yeah.
Right. Oh, so Beatrice said she has a MacBook laptop here. Right. So I have a MacBook laptop as well. I have a MacBook Pro. And I'm actually on a very old Cintiq. But you know, the Cintiqs, I would usually recommend, I mean, Mrityunjay got what, a 16-inch, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's one of the smaller size Cintiqs. The one that usual professionals use, I would say, is the 21 to 24 inch, whatever that range is they have right now. And then they have a 32, which we were just talking about before the meeting today. It's like a Cadillac, you know, it's monstrous. If you can afford it, I would recommend the 21 to 24. Like that's a pretty darn good size. And that, I think, usually runs around $2,000, you know. If you want to go more mobile, then I would recommend the iPad, you know. So
I gotta say
Marcus,
something before we
please.
end this subject.
Yeah.
I don't use a Cintiq. I use this, which is an Intuos
Yeah.
Pro. There's no
Yeah.
screen here. This is way cheaper than anything.
Yes.
And trust me, you can do anything with a Cintiq. You can do it with this. So
Yeah.
that to me, that's the way to start. If you want to jump straight to a Cintiq and you get the money, of course, go ahead and grab your Cintiq. But I'm so used to this type of tablets, so it's good to me. So
Yeah, the
that's gonna be
tablets are
way cheaper.
yeah, the tablets are cheaper than Cintiq. The only challenge you have to, you know, for all of you to be aware of is some people have a really tough time drawing on a tablet. And I don't mean the iPad. I mean what Diego just showed you, like the Intuos. They have a tough time drawing there and looking at the screen, right? Some people have no problem with that separation. If you don't have a problem with that, I agree with Diego. Notice the one Diego picked up as well is huge. So he has a large size tablet. You don't want the small ones, right? The smaller, the worse off it is. They sell ones that are like this big, right? So you want to try to get something that's large enough, for your arm to move around. So that's another option, Okay, so back to Marcus. Marcus, let's take a shot at the model, right? So you got some good line going on, you got some good flow. I would just make sure it still feels, like I said, like you're dark. So I rather you have, you come in lighter than darker. It's okay to even knock the opacity down to 20%. And make sure your minimum size on the brush is at 0, okay? That will give you the nice taper on the line, okay? And I'm gonna get rid of my mess over here as well. And let's just take a shot at the model and, and see what you do, right? And then the rest of us here will help guide you through it, okay? So yeah, so getting back to you guys, technically, you've got Intuos-like tablets, right? Bigger is better. You've got stuff where the tablets are where you draw on the screen. Over there, I don't think anything beats the iPad Pro, quite honestly. And then you've got the monitors to draw on. I mentioned Wacom because that's the one I've been using for my whole professional life, but there are other ones out there. I think HP makes one. There's a couple of other companies that make them at cheaper price points. I've just never used them, so I can't tell you if they're good or not, All right, so
Yeah,
we got Marcus drawing.
Yeah, the only reason I got Cintiq is because you have to like upgrade your workstation like sometimes, right? So I have like a smaller one, like a 7-inch, and it was just like kind of like disconnection because you're drawing somewhere, you're looking at somewhere. So yeah, as Mike says, it's some people it's very easy. It's easy with me, but I just like got upgrade, so I don't jump to a tablet like bigger tablet, but Cintiq. So yeah, it's your choice.
Yeah, it takes some getting used to, but I mean, for me, it felt strange at the beginning, being so used to drawing on paper. But after a while, it's just the same. I don't even notice the difference nowadays.
Yeah, you're a master at digital drawing.
Oh, there's another thing also now. Tom is mentioned there. Little note on someone who owns both a Wacom Intuos Medium and an iPad Pro for professional purpose. The texture of the Wacom feels less glassy, slippery than the iPad. I have two things to say. Once, you can buy like a screen protector that it feels like paper, right?
Yeah.
And there's another thing I use here is the nib. I don't know if you can see it here. It has the top, like the point of that is like rubbery, right? So it get a little sticky on when you're drawing, so it's not glass against glass, and it's not slippery at all. So those are two tips you can use if you feel like it's way too slippery.
Right. Yeah, no, totally. Good notes. So my suggestion here, Marcus, the reason I put the blue brackets here is, one line equals one idea, right? And we want to try to get to that mindset. So this blue bracketed area, what we don't want to do is take something like that and try to chop it up. This is where lengthening your line actually does matter. I know it's harder, right? And that's why most people, when they're starting off with drawing, they draw with lots of little lines. It's a little easier, right? And we kind of crawl our way along. But you want to try to have that line be long, right? And connect, that section of the body as much as possible. Yeah. So, I would say just go over your drawing without erasing anything, and just try to get from, let's say, about here to about here, right? And see if you can get that stroke, the length of that stroke, right? The better you get over time, everyone, the longer you get that line working for you, And that's what we want, because the goal is to try to understand the whole body. Marcus, of course, has some experience in drawing, which I didn't know. I just know Marcus is someone who's been dedicated to this channel, so I picked him. But pretty good drawing, right off the top. He's got some good rhythm going in. He went from the shoulder into the bottom of the arm, and from the arm into the forearm and into the head, right? A lot of good stuff going on there. Yeah, so pretty good job. For those of you that are new, that don't know force that well, while I'm working here on Marcus's drawing, we have all this force that's going up this way, right? The applied force is what's pushing out over here, right? So there's a lot of applied force here. This is called the C torso. It's what? It's different.
Different
Yeah,
in
it's different.
digital. Yeah, it
It's
is,
different
right?
digital. Yeah, no, it is. And I think as a group, we'll all get better even in just this software, right? Getting used to the brushes. I recommend that all of you who are interested in doing this in the future with us, try out this website right after today, get your brush set up, find it, get it set up to a place where you feel like you have good control over the brush, right? So, this is a C torso, everyone, okay? This pose, I picked this one because it's a little of an easier one to start with, right? The next one we're going to go to is a little more difficult. And so C torso means that the template for this looks something like this, right? Okay, it's like this. This model is bending, right? Like so. In that kind of situation, there's 3 moments of applied force. There's the opposite shoulder, typically, the opposite shoulder from the stretch, and then the opposite side of the pelvis. These are your 3 like hot zones, right? And they're being connected by these directional forces, right? So I'm coming up here with directional force, and I'm going to push over here. I'm going to push out over here. I'm going to push out over here, and I'm going to push out over here, right? So that's basically what's going on here. Important, something that Shane too, because it affects the gesture, right? All right, so let's try someone else. Thank you, Marcus. Like I said, we're all kind of tripping through this today. What I'm going to do is I have another file set up, and we will bring that one in. Okay.
Okay, who's ready? Go again with a yes. So who's ready right now? Who has already launched the site? Who has tested it, and who has already everything set up to go in? So we can get faster.
Yeah, who feels like they're prepared and ready to rock it out?
So the first yes we have is the first one who's coming. So oh, you pick an easy one.
Yeah, this one is like 50 times harder. All right. Copy.
Yes, so Ricardo.
Different directions.
Ricardo Pañefiel,
right? Yeah.
Okay, Ricardo Pañefiel. That would be the way to pronounce that.
So Ricardo, here's the link. Okay, guys. So here's the link. Ricardo's coming in. All right, let me give you guys here the link with me, the force instructors. All right, so everyone's going to come in. Let me go full screen. Okay, let's zoom in on this a little bit. Okay. Just make this a little bigger so we got more white. It's very sensitive, as you can see. All right, there we go. Okay, so Ricardo, whenever you're ready, come on in, and then practice, with the brush and all again, right? Let me get my brush settings out so you can kind of see what I was working with, right? Low opacity, minimum size on the brush, that gives us the tip. 0 hardness, right? So it's got softness to it because we want to be able to build up into the line, right? And once you're in here and you get the brush set up, I want you to try and skate around, and then we'll take it from there, right?
So is this you? Is this you, Ricardo?
Yeah, Ricardo, are you the blue guy?
That's you, Mike.
Yeah, this is me.
Yeah, I know you.
I'm going to do a small doodle over here of what's going on.
No. What that's no. So this is you, Ricardo.
Yeah, it's Ricardo saying no, I guess.
Okay, try to doodle around something like I don't care, just do like that. This looks like an Ouija session. Are you with us,
A
Ricardo?
Ouija,
Give us a
a Ouija
sign.
session. It's like ghosts drawing with us. Right. Who's the blue?
I have no idea.
The blue is
It's
on
layer
layer
number
3.
3.
Yes, no name.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah, you can kill that, Mike.
I don't know if I can.
Yes, you can.
Oh,
Yeah.
what I could do, I don't know if I can erase it. I might be able to go over it with mine. Yeah, that's
Or
what I
just
think.
hide it.
Yeah, hold on. Brush. Okay. All right, I'm gonna guess that this is Ricardo up here in the black, right? So good job, Ricardo. Good job just trying to use the roller coaster and all. So I did a little sketch here for you actually, right, of the pose. So let's have you try to get through that figure, use up this giant space over here to the right-hand side and try to flow through the body, right? So you can get, the roller coaster that you're using to actually connect, right? See, any questions while we're waiting here? Don't touch the link if you weren't called. Thank you, Raphael. He's my force police. Guys, click the like button, not the link. Exactly. Yeah, so let's like I said, Raphael, let's take a shot at the model, right?
It's Ricardo. It's Ricardo.
Ricardo, sorry, Ricardo. Talking to Raphael. So right away, who's this over here, guys? This isn't you guys? Maybe it's Ricardo. Here, let me make room.
No,
I'm
yeah, what you can do is like choose a different color and it's like, yep, this is me.
there we go.
Yeah, I'm this one. So
Okay. Yeah, your name's on the little layer.
yeah.
So Ricardo, I would say if that is you drawing, let's go full screen. Let's go nice and big, right? As big as you can fill in. Watch what you did here right off the top. What I can see is off is the angle, right? You can see, even though you just created this curve of force here and this one here, it's very straight. And mine's maybe a little too strong, right? You can see that in mine. So we want to try to get into this space, right? Like see that angle and how force starts creating around that angle, right? Angles are important, guys, right? There's no secret to that. Like force is helping develop these angles in a sense, right? So, as Ricardo draws, you want to be aware of like, okay, I'm drawing the shoulder up here and I've got to come down. And as you come down, you want to go around the figure, right? Wrap around the figure to get to the stomach, right? This is an S torso, everyone, right? So you can see this is the S. An S torso, you want to come down and around. And as you come down and around, that's going to take you to the stomach. And then that's going to take you to the hip. And I want to be aware that it feels like I am going around this angle, right? Riapoli says, how to find the right balance in the mindset between trying to reproduce what you see and being relaxed and carefree. So I would say the answer, Riapoli, is to soft touch your way in. Come in light and gently. That will give you the chance to have freedom, right? And therefore, you're getting lines on the screen or the piece of paper, and you can actually see what's happening, and then you adjust that instead of going in so heavy-handed or with a black line, right? You need to draw something, right, and get it down in order to see what's going on, right? So that's where this whole soft touch approach, we call it at drawingforce.com, is is for you to come in more lightly so you can make those adjustments and still feel freedom. That freedom part is, to me, that is very important. Very, very important
Mike,
that I feel
you
like
may
I'm
want to
able
raise the canvas because he's drawing way down. So
He's got room over here though. Yeah, this
no,
is
no,
what I want. Like he's up here.
yeah, but he's drawing here.
Yeah, I know. I see that. I'm not sure. Let's see. I see. I can come out. There we go. There we go. Okay, this way you guys can see. That's better, Ricardo, by the way, much better, right? There's a little bit of a proportion thing going on here, right? As you'll notice, here, I'll grab blue so you guys know I'm blue. You know, you can see your distance between here and here is very long. So this is great. I love that we're doing this and we have, you know, Ricardo in here working with us. You can see these are all the real problems that come up at the very beginning, right? We had to get the angle right. Now Ricardo is trying to, you know, he's got some good rhythm going on. My two main notes would be number one, over here. Number one would be connect the ideas. You got this idea, let's call this A, and you got this idea, we'll call that B, but there's nothing happening in between them, right? And you'll notice that Trinda, the model, he's round, right? He's like this, right? He's got volume. So I want to use my connection line, if I can, to actually go around and into the next place. By me doing this, by the way, it's almost like I'm wrapping. You see that? Right? So force is going around the body and I'm trying to push it into the stomach. So that's the first thing, right? Is use applied force to connect. And don't be shy to draw it. This is part of the freedom thing we were just talking about. Use the applied force to connect from one place to another. The second piece is, you know, when you get just two lines on a piece of paper or a screen, there's a lot of information in those two lines. Notice in these two, I'm going to grab green now. I've already set up an angle in here. I've already set up distances. I've already set up a relationship of the apexes from here to here. A lot of information, only two lines, because as soon as you have two lines, you're creating a relationship, right? You see? So you want to draw out that relationship between those two lines to see, you know, what's going on here, right? How does this work? Okay. All right, Ricardo, I'm going to try to give one more person a shot. Thank you so much. I hope that you learned something by going through this. You know, so be aware that you can use applied force to connect your ideas better together, and watch those first relationships. As soon as you go down for the second force, right? You got two forces down. You've got a relationship or a rhythm set up, and that's where on the website I call it LALA, right? You have location, angle, length, and apexes, right? So you got four things already that you can assess in just two marks on a piece of paper, okay? Okay, guys, let's do it one more time, right? I have one more file set up. So let's go through the whole yes situation again. I'm gonna bring us up to our next image and then share it with the instructors. Okay, let me get my last.
Ripley Winter was super ready. He was like waiting for it.
Okay, awesome. All right, let's do it. So new share. We're going to go now to this file. I'm going to close the other one down. Let's get this full screen. Okay. Here's the link. So
do we need to censor that just a little bit?
I don't know. Sure, you can go in there and do that, Diego.
Yeah, I don't have the link yet.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'll get it to you right now. Chat, why don't you take care of that and I'll grab, just make sure everything else is working okay. All right, so it was Riopoli, right? All right, Riopoli is up. Here's the link. I'm putting it into the live chat. Okay. All right, everything is set up. Ready to roll. I'll do a little sketch down here as we did before. Thank you, Diego,
Yeah.
for the censorship.
Really, really artsy.
It's so funny. All right, so here I am. I'm going to sketch out what's going on here. I'm going to make this a little bigger and softer. I'm going to even lighten my opacity up more. There we go. This idea of low opacity, everyone, and flow, and just connecting, that's the freedom part. That was a very, very good question, a very important question that was asked today. How do you get like this accuracy and you feel like you have this commitment to the model, right? Well, knock down the opacity, give yourself the room to just think. The pros do this all the time. You just see it done usually in different colors, right? They'll be like, oh, I'm going to do my blue, under drawing, right? So we're just doing it with one color, and I want you to build up the opacity because it actually helps us with force and all too, right? I'm going to knock this up a little bit more, right? So Rheopoly, I would just say, set up your brush, probably try to get it close to what I have. Look at the settings, in the screen there. All right, see if you can get that.
I don't know, Danny, just being safe. Danny McTire says bad cracks are allowed. I don't know, just being safe.
Bad cracks are allowed. All right, so here's the pose, all right? So Rheopoly, whenever you're ready, let's, why don't you, practice the line a little bit, get the brush going. Whoops, I'm off here. This arm goes out and then to her wrist, all right? Notice how light I'm going to help me build up, right? I'm just building up and building up. I'm trying to feel out the forces, right? The opacity is very important. So get that opacity knocked down, Rheopoly, and then also knock down to minimum size. So yeah, you got a good taper. And knock the opacity down and the hardness down to 0. The hardness is key because that'll give you this nice softness that we're looking for right now. Not like you got to draw like that for the rest of your life, just for now in this session, right? We want this like soft line. Okay, I'm giving you the answers here basically to the challenge, and then this way you can try to go through them yourself. Okay, so here's our pose. It's tilted more. And again, those of you at home, feel free to draw along, if you're on paper, right? Or if you're in Photoshop or whatever. And Rheopoly, when you're ready, let's have you start drawing the model, right? Practice that line, start drawing the model, and then this way we can all help you out, right? Let's see, any questions out there? Input, it seems like you guys are driving the live talk, the chat. Yeah, you always want to, Comic Court was talking about angles. You definitely always, first of all, want your vision to be perpendicular to the surface you're drawing on, right? So if my eyeball is here, right, you want the surface of the object you're looking at to be 90 degrees to what you're drawing on, okay? Very important. And as I think the one member was describing, you don't want to be looking down like this at your iPad, right? Not good for right here. Not a good idea. Okay. All right, Rheopoly, we're all ready. If you're in here, let's get you, like I said, let's get you drawing. I'll give you a second or two. Otherwise, I'm going to kick it over to someone else and give them a shot. Yeah, so when I'm drawing and I'm at a table or something, usually I'm trying to sit upright, right, like this, and then have, the screen or monitor, easel, whatever you're looking at should be, pretty upright, right? You want that kind of setup going on. Anything from Rheopoly? I don't know if he's just having technical problems.
I don't know, from time to time appears a line and then disappears, but
yeah, I see lines showing up, Rheopoly, I think, but I definitely want you drawing. Just go for the model. Okay.
Yeah, but I think something's wrong there. But
Well, I see them show up and it looks like then they get deleted. They disappear.
do you see my
Okay,
line?
so
No.
yeah, exactly. I was
You
going to
don't.
read that, Diego.
Yeah.
In layer 5.
Yeah, they would show up on the monitor, basically.
Oh yeah, now it's coming. Now it's coming along. Yeah, now we see it. Yeah, go for the model.
Yeah, go for the model. We have about 10 minutes to go. Let's have you draw the model. Whoever's in layer 6, please stop.
Maybe he's on the layer 6.
Unless he is 6 now, right? Okay, that's good. So here's the first piece of advice I would have, Riopoly, if this is you. I like what you keep what you have. Don't go back. You had this. You went for what's called a. This is almost really like a line of action, right? And we've talked. Ironically, we've talked about line of action in the past. All you're getting then is literally a line of action. I want you to be aware that in that line, force is actually pushing this way and this way. You see, so I'd much rather you draw with the contours of the body and feel that power move across it, right? So I want you to try again. And this time I want you to go from the left side of the model's body to get that push in that line of action that you were talking about, and then cross over her body to get to the other side of your line of action, right? Like so. And draw the connection. You can see what I did in the middle there. Actually draw it. I don't care how heavy-handed or light-handed you are, but I want you to actually flow like this and make this your line of action, because this is the true rhythm of the figure. Okay, so try this out, what I did over here, and let's see how that works out for you. Okay. Yeah, I think to your point, Diego, earlier, the hardest part of this is just the technical delay, right?
Yeah, until they hear what you say, it's like 20 seconds. So
Yeah,
maybe a little more.
we'll just have to be entertaining in each of
Yeah.
those 20 seconds. That's all. Anyone have a good joke?
Yeah, that's better. That's better. Yeah. You want to come
Yeah.
from here. Oh, I'm drawing. I was actually drawing in the Zoom.
It's funny. Yeah, that's better. So that's already much better, Riopoly, right? I want you to see that now that you're going from side to side like that. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, like that. Yeah, that's good, much better. So now
From
you're
here.
not just drawing this abstraction and you're not saying it's maybe the spine that you were drawing or just an abstract line. You're really trying to draw that model and you're feeling the energy of the model, pushing out on one side to another. I know this is going to sound a little weird, but I'm going to throw this out there anyway. Imagine that like the model were in like a giant pillowcase, right? And the model's standing straight inside the pillowcase, right? She's like this, okay? Right? But now she moves her body into this pose. So all of a sudden the pillowcase is going to push out this way and it's going to push out this way, right? So it's going to start looking like this, right? It's going to sag in here. I want you to be aware of those moments where her body is pushing out, his or her, no matter what model you're drawing, right? And you want to feel that pushing out, right? So those are these places of stress, of force, of applied force pushing out in the figure, right? And that's the way that you want to try to start. So I'm going to get rid of my other drawing, and I would say, Riopoly, with the time we have left, let's see if you can try getting down to the legs. You can see my my answers over here. I'll keep them down there and try to follow the path that I drew over here, as you can see. So when you get to the legs, you want to go from the outside of the thigh to the inside knee, right? And draw that connection. And then from the inside knee to the outer calf, right? And draw that connection. And that gets us to the heel of the foot and then to the bottom, right? So try following through those steps. Yeah, we're going to start right there. I know the only way around the delay is really to have a student in the Zoom meeting with us, because then they're live, right? That's the only way that can happen.
How we doing? How are we doing on likes? Oh, come on, guys. Do the like, and we choose one person to do the next thing we're gonna do with this. And we set you up before.
All right, I'm not sure what happened to Riopoly. There we go. It's coming in. There we go.
No, that's me. I was kidding.
Thanks.
I think he's trying to delete something here.
Yeah, don't worry about erasing anything. Just get to work, right? You only have a couple minutes left.
Also, like, there's a good thing or bad thing, and it depends on really how you see the software. It has like limited brushes, so everybody who's gonna come in, he's not be asking about, yeah, what brush do you use, man? Give me that brush, and everybody
Right.
will be like same settings, and it's really gonna make you like bound it, and it just depends upon your skill, right?
Exactly.
Here's a quick tip for you. I'm noticing you're starting like that. You may want to try to come from somewhere, like you're coming here then down, right? Don't jump like that. Okay. I don't know why my brush is. Oh, I know why. Just let me go up there.
And Riopoly, my other comment would be, notice what you did here. You went from, see how you just put in the inside knee last? So force is always a path, right? It's like this. You want to come down one side and find out where you got to go to next, right? It's a constant like river or stream or raceway, right? So you can't do this, right? And then do this, right? This is what I call a bunny hop, actually. Just like boing, boing, right? You don't want that. You want to find flow, right? So that fluidity is what we want to find in the figure. That fluidity is rhythm, right? So we're trying to find the rhythms in the body, right? So we're almost done here. I would like to do this again in the future. We're not going to do this every week. We'll do it maybe once a month or so, or something like that. I think it'd be great if you are interested in being someone who comes into this live session with us and draws on the screen with us. Go to go to the website, which you can see up here in my browser window. It's aggie.io, right? That's the site. And then upload a page. Get a photograph in there. Practice in the software. I would take a snapshot of my brush settings over here, so you're ready to go. And then the next time we do this, everyone's up and running and ready to do their job, okay? So this is what we're gonna be looking for. And make sure you get all this rhythm and fluidity that you see going on here, right? And then that's pretty much it. So thank you for those of you that had the confidence and courage, first of all, to come on up. I can imagine if I was on the other side, I'd be like, I don't know if I wanna go up there and draw with everybody watching me, So thank you guys. I'm trying to think if I have anything else really to say. I hope you enjoyed, obviously, today. We had, it's our first time doing it, so I don't think it's a perfectly smooth situation yet. We'll get there, right?
It was seamless.
Let's see what Marcus says. What is fascinating is that we can find the golden ratio of Michael's length. Exactly. Yoron says, could we do this with the members one time? Let's say, yeah, no, it'd be awesome. Yoron, maybe we'll do this in a premium workshop or something, right? Or maybe it's a special workshop. I don't know. In the meantime, Beatrice said, in the meanwhile, may I suggest the Force model photo pack? Yeah, I just got it yesterday. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. I should put that in here. You know what? Here, let's go back to Photoshop really quick. I'm going to jump out of here. This will take me a second. Let's go back to Photoshop, everyone. I'll share with you guys I'm going to share with you Photoshop, and then we're going to close up for today. Anyone have any questions while we're finishing up our session here today? again, feel free to type in. All right, here's Photoshop. Yeah, I wanted I think it was Beatrice that mentioned it. To Beatrice's point, I just put out a sale discount on one of our photo packs. It's got over 550 photographs in it. Some of the stuff that you've seen us use here on Force Fridays. Let me see if I can get that for you guys. And I'll put it in the link. Any other questions coming up in the chat?
Awesome. Good to hear that. Thank you for today. That'd be great with Michael Mattesi Premium Drawing live sessions. Well done, Marcus, Ricardo, and Rapoli.
Okay, here's the link. But don't buy it yet. Let me tell you what the offer was. I think it's 20% off from what I remember. And I just want to give you the code for it before you go purchase it. The coupon code, it's 20% off, and it was, it's model 20. Okay, so there's the link. If you type in model 20 with that link, then you get 20% off. Okay, so there's over 550 photos of the types of models that you guys see us bring into these Force Fridays. Sort of high impact, high energy, right? Really great dynamic posing, which, as I'm sure most of you know, is kind of tough to find on the internet. There's some other sites I think that do a pretty good job, but there's a lot of not great photography out there as well. So check that out. There's also, before we leave here, if you're interested in drawingforce.com, I don't usually sit here and give you guys my spiel, but we are doing, we're doing 20% off also on the elite membership and the foundation bundle. That's all of the classes, right? That's Force, Form, Shape, Basics. I think an Anatomy is actually in there too. And it's 20% off of that. Just go to the website for that, drawingforce.com. The code for that is Elite 20. Right, so there it is. Okay, so if you go to the website and you're interested in either the Elite membership or the Force Foundation bundle, that gives you lifetime access to the courses, all the main courses. That's 20% off, which is actually a pretty big savings. Okay, sorry if you guys are hearing the noise. I got construction that's just started. I told them to take a break. We're at the end of our hour. They're back in the house. All right, guys. So these two products, Elite Membership and Force Foundation Bundle, they're also 20% off with Elite 20. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks for bearing with us through any of the tech stuff that happened today. It was really fun drawing with those of you who were able to come up into the session. Please go check out Aggie.io, Aggie.io. And then we'll do this, like I said, periodically, right? We'll try to bring this into Force Fridays where you actually get to draw with us, right? And I'll spell it out. If you see the icon with the hands in the thumbnail, you know that we're going to be doing this, okay? It's different than the follow along, all right? All right, guys, have a great weekend. I'll see you. Stay safe.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Yes, bye.